Kia ora everyone, day 73 of the journey and day 8 of my 2-week trading challenge. Only one trade today, but it was a solid one. Clean setup, clean exit, and I stayed disciplined. Let's get into the breakdown. So I got up a bit earlier this morning. I was actually in front of my trading station around 6 a.m. TNDE was pulling back at that stage. It had made a sort of push up around, I think it was about between 5:30 or something. But it was pulling back, and TE popped up here from around $1.30, I think it was, $1.40, and pushed up to 208. I sort of caught the end of that move and then it pulled back. Didn't really hold VWAP here, but I was looking at it holding the 20 EMA, and I didn't buy there. I wanted to wait for some confirmation. So it pushed up here to VWAP, pulled back, and I bought in on the micro pullback here at 164. So I was in around here on this candle here, 164. So not the best entry. I could have got a slightly better entry on that, but it held the 9 EMA, bought back up, pushed up again to around 175. So I could have taken my exit there, but I missed that exit, pulled back again, holding around the 9 EMA, and then eventually pushed back up. Struggled to break 175 again. There was sort of a big seller at 175. So I just took it off the table at 174. Sold on the bid. Probably could have tried selling on the ask, but I just hit my preset to sell on the bid and got filled at 174. Then pushed up to a high of 182 on that candle, and then the next candle held VWAP and pushed up to 188. And that was pretty much it for TE. So not the most exciting stock to trade this morning. Obviously very it was sort of an early stock around 6 o'clock, so I'm not usually up around 6, but I saw that opportunity there to get 10 cents out of the market, and I took that. I was kind of hoping it would push back to 2, or around $2, 190, somewhere around there, and it kind of did, but when it hit that wall at 175, I just didn't get in enough time to push through and break through that wall at 175 there. So that was pretty much my trade of the day. I was pretty happy with that. It stuck to within my strategy, so it was good. And getting the minimum price target of 10 cents was good as well. So happy with that trade. Some other notes in the morning was trades or stocks that moved really well was DWSN. And I missed an opportunity to take another trade on this. I was sort of hesitant because I'd taken a green trade, and really taking another trade is optional. And when I'm green, I generally haven't been taking another trade if my first trade's been a winner or been green, so I've been really reluctant to take another trade, just in case I end up going red on the day. When I'm red on the day, I take another trade to try and bring myself back into the green, but when it's the other way around, I tend to shy away from taking a second trade when I'm already green. So DWSN, this thing pushed up from around $1.50 up to $6.36 in its first push. I sort of saw it when it was breaking up through $4. I pulled across to it. Missed this micro pullback here off VWAP sort of support, and coming back down to the 9 EMA. And then it pushed up and put in a pullback here, and this is where I thought about taking the trade, and actually when it started pulling back, I thought, well, maybe there's an entry around 550, 560 on the pullback. And as it pulled back and sort of hit a bottom of 555, and then, yeah, I hesitated, didn't get in on this, and then it started pushing, and it pushed very quickly up to 6, and then yeah, it pretty much ripped all the way up to $11.61. So massive move in that one candle. There, basically five points, $5. So yeah, that was amazing to see. Then it pulled back, put another pullback in, and for me that was, the stock was extended, so I didn't want to buy back in here. Pretty aggressive buying in on this dip here, but possibly as it broke up over this candle, then maybe that would have been a better entry here around $10, around the whole dollar, looking for it to push higher up to $10.50. But it ripped again. It ripped again all the way up to $14.64 and then put in a high of $15.38. So that was a pretty impressive front side move on DWSN. It had some nice dips in here if you're good at dip trading. You know, you could, at the whole dollar, around $11, it dipped and pushed back up to $12.40. That's a decent dip trade. Even down here when it came down to VWAP, didn't quite come all the way to VWAP, but you know, once again around you know, the lower $9 mark, and pushed all the way up to $11.50 to $12.20. That would have been a good dip trade, buying the dip down here as it pushed up, as it bought back up. You could have been in here around $9.50, $9.60 at the half dollar, and pushing back up, taking profit, you know, as it's blasting back up to $12. And even when it came down to VWAP and tested the VWAP here, there was a decent dip trade from $9.20 up to, you know, $10.44. It's still $1 a share. So, and then basically once it got down below VWAP, probably not as trustworthy on the on the long side, but yeah, if you timed it right, you would have had some decent trades in there as well. I didn't take any. I didn't look at trading it at all down here. I sort of, I did take some practice dip trades and stuff like that, but nothing that I logged on my paper thing. It was just marking it on the chart really. But that was DWSN. The other stock that put a big move in as well was STAK. So I missed most of that front side move as I was still watching DWSN. I was still watching that, and I saw this come up on the scanner, and I saw it as it was pulling back. It had put in this big red candle here, and you know, the volume got a bit lighter, but it was holding around VWAP, around the 9 EMA here. Both of those held as support, and I thought that would have been a decent entry here with the 9 EMA and off the VWAP, and lots of bottoming tails, lots of buying up here. Bit of selling pressure though, but eventually it broke through that, pushed up to make a new high at 9.72. That would have been a good entry at around $6, around the whole dollar as well. Pushing up, you know, almost $4, 4 points. So that would have been a nice trade on that, but I didn't take that either. And then after that, it was pretty much done, and I stopped watching it from then. So that was pretty much me for the night. I didn't take any of the dip trades, so that's not really my strategy. I just sort of paper traded those, and really hesitating on DWSN on that first trade. I've got to work on that hesitation, because that would have been a really good trade to have taken. Even only being able to afford, like, I think it was like 15 shares, something like that. But when it's blasting up, you know, $5 or $6 or whatever it was, you know, that's still a pretty decent trade. And looking at just cents per share, that's a really good trade. So yeah. So looking at my stats, so TE today in at 164 with 94 shares, out at 174, 10 cents a share, so a profit of $9.47, which, you know, that's pretty decent. So I've put all my fees in now from the last couple of weeks, so my P&L for the month gross is actually in the positive, in the green at $4.39 now, but after fees and commissions, I am still $26.77 in the red. And last week, the green day gross by about $4 ended up being 9 cents in the red. So if we go to gross, I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days green in a row, but if we put the net in, then I'm only 4 days green. So, but still, that's good. Really happy that I had a green week last week and good start this week with a green day. So I want to carry that on and, you know, build my account up again, and not far to go to get back into the green for the month. So if I can keep on getting my minimum 10 cents out of the market every day, then I should be able to achieve that. Another green day, not a big win, but solid execution and discipline. I'm still noticing hesitation on faster movers, but I'm learning to recognize those moments and reflect on them without revenge trading or FOMO. That's progress, and I'm happy with that. Appreciate you watching and following along with the challenge. Let's see if I can keep this streak going. I'll catch you tomorrow for day 9. Hei a popo.